if there's anything. Okay, so now we're recording, just in case anything I say is worth listening to more than once, or maybe people who are not here might want to listen later. And I'm hoping that today we can actually bring up some joy, or at least invite the mind to the possibility of joy. Just incline it slightly in that direction by practicing Muditā. I actually like to call it the practice of rejoicing joy, because it's a kind of joy, but it's the joy that rejoices in the goodness in the world, in people's success, or one's own success, one's own happiness, the things that are going well for us and for others as well. And it's a wonderful antidote to things like jealousy, or even things like a lack of gratitude and appreciation for what we do have going for us in our lives. Sometimes we tend to look on the dark side, and I think that's very much connected to, our basic survival instinct. We're primed to look for dangers and risks. If we're like hunting in, I don't know, in the cave people days, you're going to be like on the lookout for some kind of tiger. I don't know if they had tigers in England. You're not going to be so concerned about like all the fruit on the trees. You eat that afterwards, once you've figured out that there's nothing threatening your life immediately. And in a similar way, we can be a little bit more primed and connected, tuned up to the suffering in the world, especially when it's shown to us in the news. If they do put one good story in there, it's kind of a surprise, right? It's quite it seems quite superficial, just thrown in at the end of all this horrific stuff, not really quite contextually appropriate sometimes. And yet, there is much happiness and joy in this world, as well as the suffering that happens. So this practice of mudita, when it's done intentionally, can help to kind of bring perception back to a little bit more of a balanced perspective. Because, both are equally true. There's suffering and there's also happiness. There's the end of suffering, right? The two main teachings of the Buddha, suffering and its end, is what he's concerned with. So I wanted to see if we can practice a little bit today with Muditā by bringing to mind some of the joyful things in our lives. And we'll just see where that goes. So I'm not going to talk more, because this is really a meditation session, and I want to give you time at the end to feedback anything that you may wish to say or to share, or if there are any questions, give you the opportunity for questions as well. But we will sit for probably 35 to 40 minutes. So please see if you can find a really comfortable posture for your body in the condition that it's in right now. You might be in a warm place or a cold place, so make sure you have blankets. You can probably tell that it's changing from summer to autumn, because I've got my, beanie back on again. So you might want to have a shawl. I see Johnny has one, so it's probably a bit cooler down there too. In Australia, the south is cooler than the north, so it's all a bit confusing. And just make sure you have a quiet space to be for some time. Now's the time to grab any extra cushions that you could use to support yourself. I don't know about people who sit cross-legged, but one tip that I feel like sharing, or that comes to mind, is to put a cushion on my lap. Because sometimes if you have your hands like in your lap, I don't know about you, but my shoulders get kind of hunched over a bit and the spine isn't very straight. But if I can straighten my spine, I see that my arms are actually a little bit above my lap. So I put a cushion under there. It's quite nice. Today I've got a cushion in my lower back. Good. So once you are more or less satisfied with your posture, you can gently close your eyes and notice the subtler things that you may wish to adjust. Any clothing that's restrictive or tight, any limbs that you've kind of crossed too tightly or that are pressing on one another. And see that your posture has a sense of alertness, uprightness about it without being too stiff or too tight. Once the spine is reasonably straight, it supports the muscles and the limbs, so you can really allow them to just hang down. And just coming into contact with your body, perhaps with a sense of gratitude. Another aspect of kindness. But focusing on what is right with our body. Some of us might have chronic health conditions. Most of us probably do, over a certain age anyway. And yet so many parts of the body are working really, really well. So just inviting you to spread your awareness gently, naturally through the body, as if you were thanking each and every part of your body for serving you the way that it does. The eyes that allow you to see. Perhaps your spectacles help with that. The ears that are sensitive to noise, it's true, but also to the teachings of Dhamma, allowing you to take steps on this path. The teeth, the mouth, the tongue that enable you to imbibe and digest your food. I won't talk you all the way through, but just appreciating each and every part of this incredible miracle that is the body. Taking time to notice it and to care. Perhaps even mentally thanking your body. And seeing how the body responds. How the heart responds. We can even be grateful for parts of the body that are maybe not functioning at their best. Thanking them for doing the best with what they've got. Even though I've got parasites and bacteria in my stomach, leaky gut, still my digestive system tries its very best to send all the nutrients to my body and mind, working so hard against the odds to keep me alive in enough health to take steps on this path. And I can do my best to work with my body, to not be so demanding, to ask so much. And just gradually getting the sense, opening your awareness to get a sense of the whole body, your body, sitting here right now. Your body, your friend on the path. Noticing even a slight sense of relaxation, perhaps warmth or tingling in various parts of the body. And staying connected to that. And I'd like to invite you, if you wish, to think of something in your life that you're grateful for. It may be a relationship, maybe the place that you live, the food in your cupboards, or that you've just eaten for breakfast or for lunch. It could be the opportunity that you have now to practice meditation. Or perhaps even a quality that you recognize in your heart, connected to the wholesome, to the good. And allow yourself to rejoice in these blessings of your life. They might seem quite ordinary, And yet we're so, so fortunate. And just as with the metta meditation, sometimes it may help to generate this sense of mudita, of joy, appreciation, and gratitude. To recite some simple phrases to yourself. So I'd like to share some phrases that I've been using and see if anything resonates for you, or perhaps you wish to pick up something similar or different that speaks to your heart. Just as in the metta meditation, I'll be pausing between each phrase to allow the mind to incline in the direction of sympathetic or altruistic joy. May my peace and freedom increase. May I not be parted from my gains. May my happiness be stable and lasting. May I rejoice in my noble aims. So really just recognizing the happiness in your life, the blessings of your life, and wishing that they increase. Really inviting yourself to partake in the blessings of your life. Things we might often overlook or feel perhaps ungrateful for. And now I'd like to invite you, if you wish, to bring to mind someone in your life who you naturally have a sense of mudita towards, someone who's clearly fairly successful or happy, seems to get on well in life, perhaps even someone with extraordinary qualities. Perhaps a spiritual teacher or guide. Some of my teachers are coming to mind, and my heart finds it quite easy to rejoice in their freedom, to rejoice in their peace, without any sense of jealousy or inferiority at all, but just so much happiness for them. And by bringing their peace, their freedom, their kindness to mind, I partake in that happiness, that freedom, that peace. And if you wish, you can direct the phrases towards them. May your peace and freedom increase. May you not be parted from anything you've gained. May your happiness be stable and lasting. May you rejoice in your noble aims. There's no need to remember these phrases, they're just for inspiration and ideas. Just let those phrases, those sentiments come from deep in your heart and shower this person with mudita, picturing their face glowing, shining with happiness and joy. A happiness and joy that's now shared. And don't worry if you're not feeling any happiness or joy. We're not trying to force ourselves to feel a particular way, but just to invite ourselves to notice that there are people doing good things, living good lives, experiencing peace and joy. And that can benefit ourselves and so many other beings. Now we may widen our sphere of awareness to include everyone in this room. Recognizing that each one of us has something to rejoice about. There's something we can be happy about for the others. wishing that everybody here keeps on growing in Dhamma. Rejoicing in the beauty of one another's lives. All the things we have going for us. At least being well clothed and well fed. Trying to do our best. To practice meditation. To incline the mind towards the beautiful, the noble, the pure. And continuing to spread this sense of altruistic joy toward all the people in your lives. Recognizing the happiness they sometimes experience. And delighting in that. Rejoicing for all those beings who are safe, who live with freedom from fear, who take every opportunity they can to do good. I'm sure you know many people like this in your lives. They're not perfect, but they're trying their best. And allow those thoughts, those perceptions to uplift your mind. And spreading this feeling of muditā, sympathetic or altruistic joy throughout all beings in this whole world. Noticing that many beings have got enough to eat. They have people in their lives, in their families whom they love. And beautiful qualities in their hearts. Whatever joy and peace beings experience, may it increase. May their noble aims and aspirations come true. And may all animals, from large animals that live in the jungles, on the savannas, to tiny little insects, maybe even the little pepper ticks that we have here now in Australia, may they also be happy. May they enjoy their lives. Maybe we can even feel a sense of happiness for the mosquitoes who've had a nice drink of our blood. And all those beings who are enjoying life in different realms, whether or not that makes sense to you, just the possibility that there may be beings enjoying the fruits of their good karma in the heavenly realms. May they continue enjoying that peace, that happiness born of good deeds for a really long time. So I'm going to end by chanting those phrases of Muditā just for a short while. Staying embodied with a sense, once again, of gratitude for everything that's good in your lives. May our peace and freedom increase. May we not be parted from our gaze. May our happiness be stable and lasting. May we rejoice in our noble aims. May our peace and freedom increase. May we not be parted from our gaze. May our happiness be stable and lasting. May we rejoice in our noble aims. May your peace and freedom increase. May you not be parted from your gaze. May your happiness be stable and lasting. May you rejoice in your noble aims. Sadhu. 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 That was a very little experiment with my little tune. I've got a few, but anyway, that's one of them. So you can make your own up. I like making up little songs sometimes, then it's like I can just bring it to mind. I've got one to a Led Zeppelin tune, which is my personal favorite, actually. But I'll share that another time. Not a funky, rocky one, but just a kind of sweet one. Anyway, the other day, somebody, I felt that somebody sort of was being a little bit irritable with me, and I was a little bit, ooh, why are they doing that? And then I was actually driving somewhere, and instead of sitting and thinking that way, I decided to write them a little meta tune, a little meta song. So I made some lines for them and put them to a tune. And I just chanted it in my head. I felt really good afterwards. I'm not sure it changed anything with them, but it certainly didn't increase the negativity, which was great. So I'm glad somebody liked my chant. After a while, I thought, what am I doing that being recorded? Oh my goodness. But after a while, you just, never mind, give it a shot. Anyway, we have still some minutes left, so I wondered how people are feeling now, and if there's anything you'd like to share, or feedback, or ask, or object to, or anything at all. Now's the time. If you want to raise your virtual hand, you can do so by clicking on that little button. Or thanks for the comments. Great to see my freedom. Yeah, I don't always feel too free, but I don't know, it's lovely to be here and to be in Perth, and also to share these practices. So yeah, right now I feel quite happy. And I hope that some of that has been passed on to you. So yes, you can raise your hand and speak, or you can just write in a little message in the box if you wish. I'm glad some of you like the chanting. I think Christina's joining quite late. We've only got 5 minutes to go, Christina, but anyway, maybe you can still imbibe some of the happiness that we shared. Your mind was surprisingly chatty. Well, maybe that's because I also gave you quite a lot of input. But it's interesting because sometimes the mind does want to chat, and I actually find that that's a good time to use phrases, because you want to chat anyway. You might as well chat about something helpful. Sometimes, yeah, we can also try to calm the mind by just focusing on a sense of calm, or maybe reducing the phrases, having a few less words in our mind. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. See what works. So you're going to listen to it again. Okay. Yes, you have logged in late. It started 55 minutes ago. So, but you're coming for the end, which is very nice. And tomorrow we start a bit earlier. Tomorrow we start in at 1:45 this hour. So over here in England right now, it's 5 to 10. So tomorrow we start at 1:45 with a sutta class. Over here in Perth, it must be 5 to 5. So tomorrow we start at 4:45 Perth time. I think that's right, isn't it? Yeah. So here Auntie's also coming to Jana Grove. If everything's going well in my retreat, I'm afraid that I won't see you because I'm going to be in complete solitude. If I feel I need a bit of support, then I might come up to the Dhamma hall, but I'm going to be in silence. So, but it will be wonderful to know that you're here, Himanti. It really means a lot to me. I was visiting the nuns at Dhammasara a few days ago, and it was really beautiful to hear their encouragement. They all said, you know, not all, but, you know, some of them said that what you're doing is, you know, for the whole Bhikkhuni Sangha. You know, we don't all get the opportunity to sit such a long retreat, but it's going to enrich the Bhikkhuni Sangha as a whole. And they were really supportive, you know. It was actually mudita. That was a prime example of mudita rather than any sense of resentment or jealousy. And it just gave me also real joy to know that they're going to be practicing themselves for 3 months on their rains retreat. So the whole community over here, including lots of lay guests, including Hiranti this year, Anna almost was going to make it, but unfortunately, you have other things to rejoice in, Anna, instead, with the marriages of your children. And yeah. So you have other things to rejoice in. But yeah, all the community over here will be on retreat from July through October. And I'm starting a bit ahead of time, mainly because I need more time to settle myself, especially after the last few busy years. So I'll be starting early and we'll all be together in the practice. While I'm away, of course, we still have another discussion tomorrow, a sutta discussion, which I'm really looking forward to. It's the last of the section on anger, dealing with anger. And it's actually the anger-eating demon, the famous story that Ajahn Brahm's kind of elaborated from this particular passage in the suttas. So tomorrow we go to the original and we can talk about that. It's only short, but I thought we could probably have quite a bit of conversation around how we can apply that kind of metaphor. So that's tomorrow. But in my other absence, not really absence, it's more of a connection to myself on retreat, we have a whole host of wonderful bhikkhunis that are going to be guest teaching on a Sunday evening UK time. So the Sunday evening Dhamma talks and meditations and Q&A sessions will continue pretty much every week. If there's no bhikkhuni, there'll be a peer-led session. And give it a go if you've not been before, because they're also apparently quite enriching. But usually twice, even 3 times a month, and sometimes every week of the month, we have a bhikkhuni who's going to lead those sessions on a Sunday evening, UK time, 7:30. So for people in Perth, I'm afraid it probably won't work, but you can always watch the uploads later. There's about 7 or 8 different bhikkhunis, so I'm so excited. And some of them are people I've lived with and know quite closely. Others are, yeah, most of them I know quite well. So they're really great. And they're all really different. So you'll see that bhikkhunis don't only kind of come across and express themselves like me. I'm just one among many, many, many. Well, it's growing. I mean, it's not that many, but yeah, it's good to have different perspectives. Oh, there's a long message just come in. See if, oh, we've only got 1 minute left though. Go on then, we'll use the minute to read this out. Thank you for the guided meditation. It's lifted my spirit and now I feel ready for the rest of the day. I'll miss you, Venerable, but grateful and feeling mudita that you're taking the time for your practice. Thank you. And I'll be catching up with all the recordings. So grateful to all that make the recordings possible. Mudita to you as well, huh? And gratitude, as I've been using them in my retreat. That's wonderful. It's such a wonderful Dhamma service, the people who are making these available to others. Looking forward to tomorrow with you all, and looking forward to the talks from the other bhikkhunis. This Sangha has been a real joy to join, and I feel very much home in this Sangha. Thank you all with metta and gratitude. And thank you too for taking the time to write that beautiful message. It's so encouraging and definitely brings me a lot of joy. Very good, powerful, beautiful guided meditation, chanting and phrases. Thank you so much. I'm not just singing my praises here because I don't know what you're going to say when I start reading the message. It could be anything. So, you know, everything's welcome, but it is really uplifting to hear so many positive words. And if you're not feeling positive right now, that's really okay as well. You know, these are just offerings, and sometimes we're not in the mood for that practice. Sometimes we're in the mood for compassion meditation, or just letting be meditation, or scanning the body meditation, whatever it is. So basically we do different things all the time, and just take what works for you. Something might not work one week and it might work the next. Or from the teachings that I give, you might have your own ideas of how you want to practice, because really there's no right or wrong way. And I often make it up on the spot. So, you know, be creative and trust in your own wisdom and intuition in the practice, and just keep on cultivating the good. You know what the good is because you can feel it in your heart, isn't it? You can feel when the heart expands and opens and softens up. You can feel when you're contracted and brittle, and that's okay too. Just give yourself, you know, just nurture yourself when you're in that state too. But try not to believe in those thoughts or those moods. They pass, they pass. So anyway, great respect to all of you, great admiration. I know that some of you struggle with all kinds of physical, so-called disabilities, different abilities and chronic illnesses and, you know, other situations in our lives that are not always easy to deal with. And yet you keep showing up, and it's just delightful. So I'm going to miss you all, but I'm going to see you tomorrow anyway. And then I'll be thinking of this community and feeling really supported and buoyed up while I'm on my retreat. I gave some, sorry, I seem to be talking. If you've got to go, go. But I just want to say one more thing. It's funny, sometimes you've got a lot of energy and you just want to talk and share. But one thing that I had given a couple of talks on at the end of this year, last year, were solitude and loneliness, or solitude and belonging. And it was really based on my experience of feeling quite isolated and then going into solitude, and that isolation actually feeling not so healthy or supportive in that context. And I was speaking about the importance of a sense of belonging and, you know, a sense of feeling really at ease before going into solitude, and how the Buddha actually encouraged that through the gradual training. You know, teachings on virtue, on sense restraint that bring up a sense of inner joy, but teachings on those practices within community, within a community that's harmonious and that can give each other that reciprocal support. And this has been really lacking for me, you know, in England because of the corona pandemic and also not having any other monastics around. I have felt very much supported at a distance by all of you, and especially by our volunteers and the people I work closely with. And yet there's nothing that beats actually being around others in a setting that's set up for practice. So I just want to reassure everybody really here that this kind of solitude that I'm entering now is very different. It's coming from a very resourced place, and a place of that sense of connection and belonging and community again. So I feel ready, and I feel extremely grateful and quite humbled by the opportunity that's ahead. It's not always going to be easy, I know that. And the mind can play, you know, you can get a perception sometimes of being isolated even when you're not. And I'm ready to work with it. I'm ready to just face whatever comes up, and to do that with as much kindness as I can. So thank you to everybody who's been a part of making this happen, and that includes everybody here. So especially those who are volunteering. I have to shout out to Paul as well. He's not always in these sessions, but he keeps our Facebook page running and keeps everybody informed of all the events. You know, sometimes puts up inspiring passages from the suttas, and he also uploads all these talks, even though he's doing it from his mobile phone at the moment, which is really tedious and tiresome, I'm sure, and quite tricky to do, time consuming to do. But he's bringing the Dhamma to so many people internationally. Of course, to Derek, to Rennie, who do also a lot of service. And Derek's also started to write some of the newsletters. I'm still having my input while I can and putting a little paragraph in there, but he's great and really competent. And with any luck, he might even put out a couple of letters in the next half a year. So, yes. So, and Minori as well. Minori's been doing some chanting for us, and Matthias is there. He's been doing the silent sits. Anyway, I'm sure you all want to go. So I'm going to stop here and just leave you with all my gratitude and love. So take care, take care. And we will, we might as well admit the other person so they can say goodbye. They came late too.